Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We're here for Game 2 of the finals of the Crosskeys Tournament 2021. Joining me in this booth is the amazing Ampharos as well as Days Cloud. Guys, I know it's going to be awesome. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to these fantastic gentlemen and get this race started. Good one, guys.
Yeah, I think we're in for a pretty good one tonight. This has the potential to be the last race in the main Crosskeys tournament, as if Goomba wins tonight, he is your champion. But WallKicks would certainly like to win and give us a Game 3.
Yeah, this is going to be an amazing match, and we've been waiting this entire time. When did this Crosskeys tournament even start here? It feels like it was only just yesterday, but I think it was about 3 months ago, and we've come all this way to get to this Game 2 of the finals here. And Goomba taking Game 1, like you mentioned there, AA, and we're going to have to see if WallKicks can fight back and push this thing to a Game 3.
Yeah, the first seed we had, I'm not going to go into all the details, but suffice to say, it was a really tough one, and we'll have to see if the seed in Game 2 can live up to it.
Yeah, there was a big moment there in Game 1 where WallKicks unfortunately decided not to go into Ice Armos, which kind of ended up throwing him behind everything else that needed to. Also, Goomba is just generally very fast at this game.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that bad. In order to beat the seed quickly, you just had to do swordless, bowless, burnaless Ice Armos, followed by swordless and bowless Vitreous. That was the fast path.
Right, and then if you get swordless Vitreous all done, then you get your boots, and all sorts of shenanigans happen after that. But
yeah, then you only have to follow a narrow, complicated, logical trail. It was very generous.
It's simple. An easy path, but that's the type of thing you want to see in the finals. You don't want to see just a straight shot right to the end. You know, no intrigue in the series at all. You want to see some other stuff here. As we are off right now, both runners starting their traditional starts here over at Link's house. Going to start off with just a piece of heart, no hook shot today, or maybe I'm a little early here.
Just the tiniest bit. I think it's still trying to synchronize us, but yep, we are now off, and just two of these very classic Link's house starts.
Yep. Generally, the idea behind this is you come down here, do a quick little fake flipper into the water, give yourself a chance to go over to the witch's hut, grab a quick look at what's there, and also give yourself a chance to houlihan if you need to for the extra money, because if you can find some bombs, hey, fantastic.
Yeah, the real downside of this opening route, in my opinion, is that you're basically giving up about a static minute on all the houlihan stuff in order for stability. So if the seed is generous otherwise with early game resources, you're kind of wasting time. But it also removes the bad case scenarios where you just scrounge and can't find anything.
We already kind of found one of the somewhat negative aspects of this here is we've got Paradox Cave there at the witch's hut. Now Goomba getting a little lucky with the bomb drop there from that one enemy, but not really being able to do anything. One bomb in Paradox Cave, you can get you 2 items and then a quick death to mini Moldorms, unless you get really lucky. So instead, it looks like we're going to see this houlihan from both runners. I wouldn't be surprised to see
the bigger
Goomba.
Reason I'd say not to go into Paradox Cave is, like, what do you do with the bomb? You could blow open the bomb shop, but that's not going to let you buy bombs with no money. You could blow open the 2 lower chests, in which case those are the only 2 you get unless they have a weapon, or you could go for the top 5, which, as you said, is super dangerous, and you're leaving 2 chests behind. It's a bad decision on all sides.
Yeah, there's just a whole lot of things that you can't really do there. So you could actually, if you wanted to, Goomba could run immediately back there and get it. But instead, it looks like we're going to find the front entrance of Turtle Rock here, which is not the best place to get bombs, but it is a place to get bombs.
Yeah, I also really like finding this early because it can be low-key a pretty big deal to get that initial burst of magic. If we get an early magic rod, cane, like those can be very useful items, but often you're just kind of limited in taking advantage in the early game because you don't have magic to spend. Though certainly something that
Ooh.
requires no resources is that hammer.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting thing right there. That sank chest right there, right from the get-go. You're gonna get a weapon. And you're gonna get a very, very good weapon there. So that's a hammer immediately for Goomba, and we've got that sank spawn point there is gonna be here in Kakariko, so we're gonna be able to check back of escape immediately on Goomba's side. Now for WallKicks, we're gonna go and we came right back to Paradox Cave, so we've already got a little bit of a divergence between these two runners.
I actually really like this play from WallKicks because he made sure he had 2 bombs and Houlihan money. So he can spend the 2 bombs to blow this open, buy the bombs, and potentially get these 7 items, save and quit to Sank. Get his hammer anyway. It's a really clean routing idea, actually.
Yeah, I mean, going back up to that Witch's Hut area is never an easy time to do that. Now, Goomba going into the back of Escape there did get a heart container, which will make Paradox Cave a little bit easier. Also getting Bombos, which at the moment doesn't do anything, might help a little bit more when when you get a sword, as we're gonna get a very nice triple kill there for WallKicks, followed by the Ice Rod sitting up here in the top left chest of Paradox Cave with also a small key to Turtle Rock. So, I mean, pretty decent little things. And what's more is we're gonna play a little connector gambling here, see exactly where this Paradox Cave leads us.
Yeah, I don't think WallKicks was going to be too worried about checking the connectors if he'd had a bad time with the mini Moldorms. He could have just grabbed the chest and save and quit. But because they cooperated, he might as well take a little extra credit knowledge.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like the top entrance here today is going to be inside this. And yep, WallKicks was going to take a death there. Top side of Paradox Cave spit WallKicks out at the Curiosity Shop there, which unfortunately was in the Dark World. So he tried to get past those mini Moldorms on the way back there, but they decided, nah, you've got 3 hearts, we're going to take you out.
Yeah, that's a reasonable enough play, because you're basically just holding toward them and hoping for RNG. You only get hit once. If you get lucky, you find the last piece of the connector. If not, well, you go to Sank and continue on your way, and that's what we got here.
And it looks like also what we've got is we've got a old man rescue happening over on Goomba's side. You'll have to trust us on that. You can't see it, but here in just a second, you'll see Goomba pop out with the old man there. Doing that without any sort of assistance is always kind of special there, as he gets a small key to Pod as his reward and the ability to buy bombs. So hey, you know, all things coming up Goomba right there. Now what's more is he's on the mountain, and we'll be able to check all of these areas up here. Have to find out if we've got anything of interest though.
Yeah, it's really a very nice thing to find your way to the Western Mountain early. You get a large percentage of the not Sphere Zero entrances that are Light World, and you also get an extra save and quit point that can potentially be a huge time saver through the seed. So this is definitely the main place when you're checking early game connectors you're hoping to get spit out.
Right, well, we got mini Moldorm Cave happening down on WallKick's side, as Goomba has found looked like that was just the Bonk Rocks location. This mini Moldorm just not playing nice with WallKicks right now. Throwing Ice Rod shots at it, throwing bombs at it. This thing just not wanting to be found, as I guess we pulled a lamp there out of that Bonk Rocks, and King of Samaria over on WallKick's side. So, man, these guys have just completely spread out, and we are finding items extremely quick for not even being 5 minutes into this seed.
I would like to throw out there that it's really interesting to find Lamp in particular on Death Mountain. That suggests either the flute's available early, and given that we didn't see any other connectors on West Death Mountain proper, if it's a different connector to get up there, it's going to require either getting spit out specifically Hera or some extra items. Though, speak of the devil, there's the flute right there for WallKicks. And honestly, that's probably going to just synchronize our routes pretty soon. Because that flute's going to tempt WallKicks up to the mountain, and given that the flute's in CAC, it won't be too long before Goomba locates it.
Right, and right now Goomba is gonna take what he can for this, for using that old man spawn point and finding out exactly where we are. We've got one in Misery Mire. Hey, and that's a free Moon Pearl just sitting there in the back of Tavern. So I mean, yeah, this is not gonna be a bunny walking seed.
We actually have a ton of navigation available to us with that Pearl. We have a flute. We know we have a connector to the Mire region. We've seen a connector on WallKicks side to Northwest Dark World. A majority of the entrances in the world are available to these two players.
Yeah, pretty much right now, all we need is a glove and maybe some boots, and we could open up everything but like 4 entrances in the game. So this has gone very quickly here as Ooh, Goomba got to be a little careful, down to a single heart here. I think he was trying to hit it with the hammer there, and unfortunately didn't realize he had the lamp selected instead. As found Hera over here on WallKicks side, gonna get a small key to Ice Palace as Goomba goes ahead and picks up his cane and another heart container, which is pretty good for him at the moment.
Yeah, I would expect Goomba to do what WallKicks did just shortly earlier, just even things out by clearing out CAC. He'll get his flute fairly shortly as well, and it's really a question of what Goomba's decisions are after he finishes CAC. And also, I guess, a little bit of a question whether WallKicks flutes to the mountain after he's done with CAC, but if WallKicks doesn't find the lamp, that's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it would only become a big deal if, for some crazy reason, WallKicks finds a whole lot of things locked by fire immediately. I don't think that's something that's...
Point there from Goomba's perspective, then, is he has not seen a connector to main Dark World. So, after he's done with CAC here, it's a little bit of an open question where he goes. Now, granted, flute to 2 and go back into Paradox Cave, it has to be tempting him. And it'll work out great, as we know.
Definitely. I mean, there's just so much going on right now. It looks like we found WallKicks is finding Sasharala on the bottom. So let's quick shout out to the to Crosskeys here, throwing Mini Moldorm Cave, Hype Cave, and Sasharala's house in 3 entrances on the very bottom of Kakariko Village.
But it's worth noting that while that seems really generous, notice what wasn't in CAC, and for the most part, that was dungeons. We found Hera, and that's the only dungeon in CAC. And CAC is by far the greatest concentration of easily available entrances in the world, so that really increases the odds that at least one dungeon is somewhere really bad.
No, you're 100% right there. The name of the game is Beat the Dungeon. And if you are having to spend a long time looking for dungeons, well, this could turn into just a monster of a day for you really quickly. As we get a quick look there that the Smiths are in a very good location there for both of our runners there, as they're just basically right underneath where you find them in the Dark World. So if we get a mirror, the Smith check will be lightning fast.
WallKicks is choosing to push new connectors, decided to take that Fairy Ascent connector. He's going to get South Dark World knocked out. Looks like he doesn't want to head over to Eastern Dark World from here. With his hammer, he certainly could. But the South is really logical because you get 2 static overworld items from both the Stumpy and Digging Game.
Yeah, no, it's kind of the decision there is do you want to go all the way to Catfish and knock Catfish out earlier because it's a little bit more of an isolated check, or do you want the slightly larger numerical checks over towards the left? It's kind of awkward. Man, that's going to be Blind's hideout as well. So
it is worth noting, of course, that Catfish is not actually an option, and that's right, because of no glove, but that's kind of, I guess, a bigger picture reminder of just how much these runners have to keep track of, because you will probably not see either runner make a mistake like that actually playing, and there are probably over 100 little things like that that you could forget and lose 5 minutes on easily.
Exactly, exactly. At some point when the items are coming this fast, it can be kind of hard and kind of easy to say something like that and then realize immediately that, oh yeah, right, we are actually going to need we would need that as a looks like we've already picked up a fire rod there out of Blind's hut on WallKicks side. So
like, I'm really suspicious when I have a fire rod, an ice rod, and a cane of Samaria this early in the game. We need a Turtle Rock big key, but the pieces are coming together.
yeah, no, this is pretty crazy, pretty quickly here as Goomba goes ahead and he's going to find a entrance to Hyrule Castle here. Now, unfortunately, I didn't see exactly where this was because I was looking at WallKicks finding the entrance to Paradox Cave, not Paradox Cave, but Speck Rock Cave here in Dark Link's house. Going to pick up a compass and I think setting up a bomb jump here.
Yeah, exploring this connector, given what an easy way WallKicks has back to this region, makes a ton of sense to me. And likewise, Goomba clearing out front of Escape, given that you know Sank's in a good location. Very easy to justify decision, very rational.
And of course, as we were talking about not having a glove to go to Catfish, well, Goomba has solved that problem really quickly. And we first check here in Hyrule Castle, the only one that's actually in logic, of course, is a glove. So we've got basically full access to the game. We don't need to even go into connectors really unless they're going to lead us to kind of a couple of the big three locations. There's powder over on WallKicks side on Dark Death Mountain as well as we find ourselves into the brewery there.
And yeah, like personally, when I look at everything they've seen, the one spot that's kind of crying out to me that they could do right now is the front of Turtle Rock. You can get those Firelock chests right away. And to me, that's the most suspicious thing we've seen.
I would agree with you there that one would very much be on my radar as we get boots there out of Zelda Cell for Goomba. So that's as nice of a thing to find down there. Now that's of course not in logic, but at this point you don't care.
Yeah, so I think most runners probably look at it this way. At least I did, and I would guess you did as well, that when you find something out of logic, if the logical thing gating it is something you never care if you find, you don't worry much about the sequence break. Like, Goomba doesn't care if he ever finds the Hyrule Castle small key. It's not going to help him beat the game in any way, so he doesn't really need to follow that thread. It's more of a curiosity point for him.
Yeah, no, the Hyrule Castle small keys, just, it will eventually show up at this point. I mean, but now it could theoretically mean that boots are very deep in the logic and we're not supposed to ever get them, but, well, yeah, we'll see, though.
Yeah, the main thing you can take away from it is it's somewhere, and if you never find that somewhere, so be it.
Oh, very true. So for Goomba here, we're going to have to figure out exactly what we're going to do next. I imagine we're going to start taking those boots and start checking through a lot of these other locations here. I
think it's interesting to see Goomba go east instead of west here. Is he planning to go all the way to Ice Rod Cave area now?
Well, I mean, with that glove, you do have the flute. You do have a couple of ways to get around right now. I don't know exactly. Like, Goomba is extremely good at this at routing this game here, and it looks like he just wanted to go check the mini Moldorm exit there, find it was nothing, and then immediately come on back.
I guess Goomba's mindset there probably was he just didn't want to orphan a location, because when you have extreme amounts of mobility especially, it's never actually efficient to check mini Moldorm Cave. It's not on the way to anything, so he was just knocking it out early to prevent it from being a lose condition.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's one of those things where in a vanilla seed and an open seed, you're going to always check the mini Moldorm entrance. But in Crosskeys, it is surprisingly easy to just isolate the living daylights out of it and never go back to it. So
yeah, it's wedged halfway between Flute 7 and 8. There's no Dark World equivalent, so even with the mirror, you can't combo it with anything. It's just a deceptively bad entrance.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like what we found here over on WallKicks side is they're sitting in the Spike Cave entrance was Thieves Town, with the first item being the map to Thieves Town, which throws up a little C into the top left corner, so we now know that Thieves is a crystal there. That's an interesting little series of events there.
I will say that this is the first time I have encountered the interaction of finding a map in its own dungeon and having the C appear organically.
When it happens, it just kind of, you just kind of shrug your shoulders and just go, hey, okay, cool. Yeah, I know some people are kind of split. I think I want to say I remember WallKicks having a conversation with someone that he's not a huge fan of that new update there, especially when it pertains to Crosskeys, because you know, a lot of times if you see that C or you see the P up in the top corner, it can kind of influence whether or not you want to go into that little dungeon or not. But
I mean, I'll be honest about it. I would have preferred this update come a couple weeks later, just so the whole tournament could be on one version. But otherwise, I don't have a problem with the actual mechanics.
Yeah, no, definitely. We'll I mean, it's all going to be runners of this caliber. You know, it's not really going to make a big difference between that, as we're going to grab Spike Cave there right underneath the Lost Woods. And I guess we're going to keep going over on WallKicks side, because we found an entrance to the middle entrance here to Desert Palace. Get a small key to Turtle Rock, and it looks like nobody bothered to go up into the... well, I like to take it back. Now, WallKicks was up here earlier, but we found the well over on Goomba's side.
Yeah, Goomba's just being really thorough with the light world. I guess he's kind of figuring that conventionally, he would be considered the favorite. He is the #1 seed, so he's just going to sort of take care of everything as he's supposed to, use the extra items mostly for efficiency, and if the seed wants to just keep rewarding him with good item after good item for this play style, he won't complain.
I mean, yeah, if you're just going to give the man a hook shot there, sitting in the well, I guess I take it back. I'm mistaking the game 1 seed that I watched right before this to kind of refresh myself on the series here. That I guess WallKicks has not been over here, because yeah, WallKicks doesn't have hooks, so.
I will say that I am just ever increasingly suspicious of Turtle Rock after pulling that Turtle Rock small key from Desert Palace. Like, man, just so many little things that to me are crying out for that dungeon.
There is a lot to be found here. It does seem like right now. So we've found our way over into the Eastern Palace area for WallKicks, as that right side desert connector just spits him out right there, which is a perfectly good place, because that's actually really easy to get around. So quick check to Sasharala Hut, and then we're gonna flute away. Other side, we got Mimic Cave over on Goomba's side, so we'll grab one item out of here.
I will also point out, in terms of the routing plan both can construct here, Goomba's building his route around the knowledge he has conventional Dark World access. Hammer, Glove, Pearl. I know, a weird combo of items used to reach the Dark World and Crosskeys, but he can actually do it. But WallKicks does not have a glove, so he has to plan around his trips into the Dark World being a lot more committed.
Right, yeah, it is kind of interesting that we're sitting here 20 minutes in and we could just go into the Dark World the way that you would play a normal seed here. So I guess Goomba at the moment, we're just kind of just making sure that we take care of what we found in the Light World. Now, I mean, there's not really like necessarily the right way to play this, so we're gonna grab our Magic Bat here. So, looking over it right now, what is hiding behind? Yeah, it looks like we have Uncle in Ganondrop there, as SiriUX points out in chat. Things are moving so quickly. It is actually like legitimately kind of hard to keep up with, as we find the library there behind the Bonk Rocks next to Link's house there, just a piece of heart. So we're not gonna check that one out at all. But as we're gonna take just a second to find couple of other things, and Goomba's about to go exactly what and do what you're recommending there, AA. He's heading right back into the front of Turtle Rock.
Though for Goomba, it's a lot worse because he doesn't have that fire rod yet, so he's only going to get one check. Honestly, from Goomba's perspective, I'm very surprised he's electing to do this before going back to Paradox Cave.
Well, we'll see what this pays out for him here. It looks like it's just going to be 20 rupees. So yeah, if this has got an item there, it's going to be locked behind that fire rod, which WallKicks will probably get back to here sooner than later. He's about to go get his hook shot there out of the well as he drops in. And Goomba is gonna, well, looks like we're gonna see some fanciness here as we're gonna jump into the water, do a splash delete, and had to burn a potion there to get to be able to explode the block. But yeah, we're gonna check out what Hobo and maybe even go all the way to Zora here. We've got the money, we've got the ability to jump through things, but yeah, this could be really quick.
Yeah, this is honestly another play that surprises me a bit from Goomba. Like, I can't imagine that WallKicks is going to check Hobo anytime soon. So, on one hand, if that had been important, that would have been a huge leg up. But when you have just so much stuff, I don't know. Hobo just kind of seems like a slow, out-of-logic single to me.
From where Goomba was standing, that's probably the best time to have done it. And if you know WallKicks at all, I mean, he is vehemently against checking Hobo. He does kind of hate that check. So if you do find something there, there is a good chance that if you've metagamed a little bit, you might be getting a leg up on your opponent there. As Skull Woods, the one chest that we got here out of Skull Woods, just gonna be a compass. So nothing there, but that is one more dungeon that we have found.
Yeah, and here's kind of a little efficiency loss WallKicks is eating here, because the main differences are that WallKicks has some of the value out of Dark World, most notably that fire rod, while Goomba has already been down Escape. So Goomba had the glove and the boots, which means WallKicks is walking past several entrances he's going to have to go back for later, and WallKicks is not going to be able to check Magic Bat here. So just a little bit of an efficiency loss.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. He will get it right now, it looks like. Oh, no, he fluted to... thought he'd fluted to 7 there, but instead fluted to 6. So first we're going to go check this Agina's Cave entrance. We already have seen this from Goomba. We know that this is nothing. Goomba, on the other hand, into the Dark World here, about to pick up his fire rod. So, man, we're 30 minutes in, and at this point, we need dungeons, we need keys. That's primarily what we need. Couple of other things too, but man, so much of the world open to both runners here. This is actually, this could be kind of awkward to route at some point. Just one of those seeds where you're not sure if your opponent is going to end up taking the better route than you did through it, because there's just a ton of things available. Now, one quick little thing here. Looks like we've got WallKicks jumping into the TR front here. So, as my co-commentary partner there, AA gets a chance to try to get his stream a little bit better here. I'm gonna go ahead and see exactly if he was right on calling this front of TR as the right thing to do. Okay, WallKicks goes ahead, lights these torches. Goomba on the other side, we're gonna go ahead and find the Spectacle Rock connector, and it looks like on the right side of TR is, well, that's absolutely nothing. Those are bombs and a piece of heart.
Well, the one good news about finding bombs and a piece of heart there is that you're not going back for them later. Because that's kind of a under or overlooked, I'd say, thing about Crosskeys routing is it's not necessarily about going to where the items are the fastest. It's about not doing things multiple times when your opponent only does them once.
Efficiency is king here, and that's what both of these runners are really, really good at, is they make the most of their trips typically. I mean, just kind of looking back through their results in this bracket stage, I mean, Goomba has sub-2'd, what did I counted earlier here? He's sub-2'd 6 out of the 9 seeds he's played in these bracket stages, which, I mean, part of that is the seed that he's played, but also, I mean, he's the #1 seed for a reason.
Yeah, and with that big key of Thieves Town, you can kind of look other ways, because, yeah, WallKicks has that efficiency advantage of only having to single dip front of Turtle Rock. But Goomba won't have to return to Northwest Light World, and now when Goomba finds Thieves Town, he will have the option of beating it. And that might orphan the big chest, depends on where that Thieves Town small key is, but, you know, again, not having to double back to places could be a big deal.
And on top of that, just in that mire shed, Goomba finds the small key to Swamp Palace. So that's basically a big key. It's the one small key in the game that is actually a big key, because that unlocks the entire palace, whereas the big key to Swamp Palace opens up a single chest.
Yeah, though, in terms of Swamp Palace, I will point out that we're missing a lot. We don't have Swamp itself, we don't have the dam, we don't have the flippers, so that could be a pretty distant thing to be able to take advantage of.
That is true, but I mean, at the same time, every time you find that Swamp small key, you get very comfortable with that, because that is one of those items in Crosskeys that can turn your seed into just an absolute mess. As grabs the Eastern Palace key out of Dig Game as well. WallKicks finally picks up his boots. Got his boots probably about 15 minutes after Goomba did. Not a huge deal, but we'll have to go through, and kind of like you said, AA, he's got a few more checks.
Of course, one thing WallKicks might do here that Goomba didn't is I would expect WallKicks to check where these connectors to the castle go, and we're still missing 2 out of the big 3, and WallKicks hasn't discovered a way to the Mire region yet, so there could be a lot of value here for him.
There's just so many things that could be going on in this seed here right now, because just like we mentioned earlier, there's just a ton open. And so Goomba finds that there's nothing on the right side of TR here, gets a quick save and quit, and he's going to go off to someplace else. Same thing with WallKicks. When
I'm talking about runners of this caliber, I usually don't like to say they've forgotten something, because I feel like it's much more often just a choice. But I can't think of a good explanation other than it slipping his mind. Oh, as Goomba now finally makes the play, I was like, why hasn't Goomba gone back to Paradox Cave yet?
I think it might have been one of those cases where, like, the amount of items that you've gotten have led you to so many different places, and you just keep finding things. You keep finding things. And
yeah,
so,
it just was, when he went out of his way to do front of TR twice, I was like, Goomba, that's a little interesting before this place, but he's gotten around to it. And it turned out to really only be an ice rod. Also, a couple of small keys. There's a second Turtle Rock small key. I know WallKicks found one in Desert as well, so we've seen 2 in total.
Right, and it looks like that Bombos medallion that we picked up there, I want to say, in the back of Escape, is going to be our entrance into Misery Mire today, but with no sword, we're not able to do that yet, so that's going to be a somewhat isolated location, not particularly difficult to get to, because all we have to do is just go back through the back of the Old Man spawn point. So yeah, we'll have to see what exactly that turns into later. And poor WallKicks finding the back of Skull Woods with a Skull Woods small key and the fire rod, but no sword to cut the curtain. So not able to take advantage of that. Gonna just go ahead and save and quit rather than trying to force his way through.
I mean, you know the rules, and this game, either you have Tempered Sword in the first 10 minutes or you go an hour without a sword. That's just how it works.
I see you have played this game before, sir.
And
Yeah.
it's been more than 10 minutes, so at least 30 more minutes for Sword 1, right?
Oh yeah. No, we're gonna be sitting around here. We'll probably find. I don't want to go with the cliche, but I mean, probably 2 swords in swamp seems like something that this game might throw at us today, just because that is kind of where we are here. So, Goomba gonna give us our first look here into the Village of Outcasts region.
Hey,
And-
maybe we'll reverse the stereotypes today and find a sword in Palace of Darkness and a pod small key in Swamp.
That would be so much nicer, as we get Eastern Palace there. Goomba deciding, not yet. Instead, gonna run over to Thieves Town, find Chicken House, and poke around here. Or just 20 rupees, but there's one more thing you can cross off your list of places that you needed to find.
Yeah, find 20 rupees in Chicken House, your universal reminder in all things gaming. Birds are jerks.
And here is Pod right there next to basically where the chess game entrance is in Dark World. So gonna be able to get a couple of things out of in logic here. Now, if Goomba wanted to, he could start doing some shenanigans and break into the back of Pod with this small key. I don't expect him to by any means, just because that is a pretty slow thing.
Yeah, the metagame has pretty much entirely settled on not skipping unlocking the first door in Pod, to the point that it's actually like a huge play if you choose to do so, because almost no one who's conventionally considered a strong player does it anymore.
And Goomba is considering going for the hover here to break over to the right side. Not able to do it there. Probably not going to waste his time to go any further. And does look like we're going to go through the normal way. And we're deciding, Goomba is deciding that he's not going to go for a, he's used his potion, so he won't be able to use the potion unlock glitch to go ahead and break through the right side that way. Also choosing not to go through and do a mimic clip either there. Now, WallKicks finding Super Bunny Cave there. Didn't look like we got a whole tons of things, but Goomba has found GT with a ton of items to use in it.
Oh, Turtle Rock Big Key. Turtle Rock spicier and spicier, but we can do the entire GT basement other than Big Chest, and I expect that's exactly what we're going to see. This is the very standard route to do so in Crosskeys. You go down right side, you steal the key, you go down left.
I kind of imagine we're going to, at some point here, you kind of imagine we're going to find a sword in here, because there are 22 chests in the basement we can get right now. We don't have the GT big key, so we can't open that chest. With the one key, I don't believe we can open the map chest either, if we want to go all the way back.
I would point out that if we don't find anything helpful before the end, which we're extremely likely to find something helpful before the end, Ice Armos is not a good fight with this equipment. Especially because you're probably going to be pretty magic drained going into it.
Yeah, no, that is a big problem right now, as being told that we can open the map chest there, so I will defer to everybody else who's also very good at this game. And let's get a quick look here. And the compass chest in GT, we've got a shovel and a big key to GT. Hey, that's a fantastic time to find that. That's going to be buried behind 4 GT keys.
I will note that Goomba did not take very much intentional damage there. Like, those Gibdos would have done a much better job for him of getting his health down than repeatedly running into this pit.
What would have also worked is if you had fluted to Flute Spot 5, gone into the Dark World, gone into Aga Tower, and then found the mirror in the front chest, just like WallKicks did. That would make this much faster. So that's probably the first item that we can say that WallKicks was really first to in this seed. So that's going to come big handy for him.
I mean, WallKicks did have the fire rod much earlier for whatever.
Well, that's true.
But
that is true.
Like, yeah, the mirror is going to really open up the routing possibilities. But where was GT's entrance in specific?
GT's entrance is basically the brewery there in Village of Outcasts, so it's not something that is difficult to find. It is on the way.
But that's almost a negative for WallKicks here, because when I look at that mirror WallKicks has, I'm thinking you're going to be inclined to follow it, and there's no way following the mirror is going to lead you to the brewery. It's just going to lead you to check other things first.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. So there's that small key to Hyrule Castle. We finally found that, and it turns out that thing, it was behind all 4 GT keys as well. So our boots are locked behind all 4 GT keys.
So WallKicks with 2 Turtle Rock small keys, he's found something really nice. He's made his way into Turtle Rock, and he can actually get these 2 chests up here and then go down to Laser Bridge.
Well, no, WallKicks unfortunately has not found the Turtle Rock Big Key because that sucker is sitting in GT right now.
Details.
It's one of those things, you know.
He can certainly think about going to Laser Bridge. He can't actually do it, but he can consider the play very strongly.
That's something that he will think about doing a little bit later there. So yeah, we've got all sorts of stuff here. Now we're gonna go into the back here. Finally find a sword over on Goomba's side. So Ice Armos went from being unbelievably annoying to not so bad. And on top of that, we're gonna get half magic. So if we want to go and spam a couple of fire rod shots or a couple of other things, we definitely have the ability to do that right now. And I'm not even 100% sure, but all of a sudden it looks like WallKicks went through the laser eye entrance there, kind of spit out at Dark Sank, and is already immediately at at the north part of Dark World already.
And yeah, that was a very generous place to find that sword for Goomba, because Ice Armos went from horrible to reasonable in a big hurry.
There's a big key to Ice Palace. I swear, this seed is just spitting items at runners right now. I mean, the crazy thing is that how many dungeons we're still kind of missing, but even then, we're not missing that many.
Yeah, between both runners, we're missing Ice Mire and both things we need for Swamp?
Yeah, and to be honest, we don't even 100% know whether or not we need to beat Swamp today. I mean, Swamp is at the moment a possibility. We don't know if it's a pendant or if it's a crystal. We do have the dam. We did find the dam over on WallKick's side, but yeah, that's yet to be seen. And Goomba going ahead, clears out Ice Armos here. Grabs a whole lot of nothing and is continuing. It looks like we're just going to walk out because unfortunately, without having that mirror, there's not really like a good way to death warp from that area. So walking out's kind of the best option you get most of the time.
But I can't imagine Goomba's too unhappy with this dive. He got a couple of big keys. He got a sword. He got a shovel for whatever that's worth. He has it. And he can move on with a lot more knowledge about what's ahead of him in the seed.
True. Very true here. And we'll be able to check what's in this house locked behind the hammer pegs right now. Find Agina's cave. So a possibility of getting one more item here. Now, if Goomba can go ahead and find himself the bow here, he might be tempted to go into Green Pendant Eastern here in just a second. Have to see exactly what he does in a second. Looks like instead it's just a pod small key, which is also very interesting. With pod being just a short walk away, and that second key opens up the entire back. Not logically, but it does open up the entire back.
Ooh, we see a big deal going on WallKicks' side. So WallKicks has located Ice Palace, sees it's a crystal, and he's diving in, but we know it wasn't far away to find GT and the Ice Big Key. So it is an inevitability now that WallKicks is going to orphan the Ice Big Chest. If that's a critical item, which with how much we've seen, there's a pretty good chance it's not, but if it is, that's a doom scenario for WallKicks right there.
Very much so. I mean, that's one of those items that if you leave behind in Crosskeys or any sort of keys mode, yeah, you're playing with fire for sure. Now on the other side, Goomba did go ahead and he's found the small key to Thieves Town in his first chest of Eastern Palace here. So that's another one of those kind of one-off locations that is really difficult at some point.
And yeah, now we kind of have seen in some previous races in this tournament, Goomba's rarely in a hurry to route West Dark Death Mountain. That's where Thieves Town is. It would really help Goomba a lot to go there soon, because that's a dungeon he can full clear, a crystal dungeon. Though I suspect Goomba's route's naturally going to lead him into this Ice Palace. So that also will be a very favorable dungeon to just clear out.
Yeah, and again, we can look up there at some point. I guess we did find the map to Ice Palace, because up on the top left of WallKicks' screen there, we are seeing that this is another of our crystals here. So I wonder if that is part of the reason that WallKicks was so aggressive in jumping into Ice Palace here, is he is making sure that he's got enough magic to be able to try to get, be able to take care of Cold Stare in just a moment. So unfortunately, he's swordless, and I'm not 100% sure on his bot. Well, actually, looking at his tracker, he doesn't have any bottles, where Goomba has 2 of them, it looks like.
Yeah, the thing is, with a hammer, Cold Stare is very doable. It's just hard. So the big question for WallKicks basically is, how good are you at hammer Cold Stare?
Well, if you're this far into the tournament, probably pretty good. As Goomba goes ahead, gets his 5 checks that he can do out of Eastern here, and takes the Death Warp out. And it's not going to matter now because he's got a sword. So things went from very difficult on WallKicks' screen side to, I got Bombos and I got Fire Rod right now. I'm probably fine.
Yeah, I mean, it helps in a lot of ways, honestly, because you use Bombos, saving most of your magic. Then you use the sword to push them into the corner, which you couldn't do before. And then some combo of Hammer and Fire Rod, you can melt Cold Stare.
I mean, yeah, definitely. And the part of the other thing with that is having a sword there, you can actually extend your hammer hitbox quite a bit there and make Cold Stare a little less dangerous. I mean, he still hits like a truck. We are on, luckily for WallKicks, he is on blue mail, not just green mail. But yeah, he hits hard. So we'll have to see exactly how WallKicks does here with Cold Stare. Probably is going to be fine, I imagine.
WallKicks didn't go for the safety fairies for that extra 1.5 hearts, so he's at least feeling confident he can do this.
Yeah, he's doing fine. As 2 of those puffs went down unbelievably quickly. Ooh, does take a puff hug there. But 1 hammer shot, and that takes down Cold Stare over on WallKicks' side. So that's going to be our first crystal of the match, actually. As yeah, looks like we are gonna keep going through back of Skull Woods here for Goomba. Gonna check out a few more entrances.
We also learn from Goomba's side, kind of another interesting meta thing about the pendant crystal markers is when you're in the front of Skull, which in Crosskeys isn't really correlated with the back of Skull at all, you get that information. We now know that's a crystal. Between both runners who've been to very different places, we're beginning to get a clearer picture of where these crystals are.
Definitely. So right now, what are we looking at? Between the 2 runners, we know that we've got Pod, Skullwoods, Thieves Town, and Ice Palace as 4 of our crystals there. And if I'm not mistaken, I want to say, didn't we see I might be thinking of game 1 here. I'm having a little bit of seed bleed because for a second there I figured I thought we had seen the bomb shop, but pretty sure that was game 1 that I watched right before this. So through Spiral Cave over here on WallKicks side, and we're going to just immediately, for Goomba, we're going to take that fire rod, we're going to take that sword, and we're going to go ahead and take care of Moth. Because we are right here, and it is not a better time to do it, pretty much.
Yeah, this is very logical. Like, this fight isn't going to get much faster with more equipment. Like, a bigger sword would be nice, but it's not that big of a deal with what else he has. And it's a crystal, you know you need it. Why not do something you know you have to do, as opposed to something you maybe don't have to do?
And so we're into the Mothula fight here over on Goomba's side. Deciding to go for the hammer there. Moth being a bit of a jerk, staying real close to those spikes. And now Goomba's going to go after him. Now Goomba being on green mail here does have to be a little bit careful. I thought that one got him.
Yeah, that was a fight that would normally make you worry just a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's not that much time loss if you just get through, and he just got through.
Yeah, no, he clutched that one out there, picks up his first crystal there, real well, as WallKicks picks up his first bottle or second bottle, out of Graveyard Ledge, looks like.
I'd like to point out that's very good awareness from WallKicks, jumping down on the left instead of the right, because we know that you can just take the back of Old Man to reach the right 2 entrances whenever you want.
Right. So, I mean, that is not something you need to think about right there. A lot of times you start worrying about finding that, and instead we're going to be able to check Mimic Cave entrance right here on WallKick's side. See that that's the other end of Bumper Cave, which we now know is just at the King's Tomb entrance. So that's not really something that we need to think about. We are going to be able to see what's in Ice Rod Cave today. We got a big key to Misery Mire over there on WallKick's side. Now, we haven't seen Misery Mire yet, but that is a nice thing to find for sure.
So I look at that, and my immediate thought upon seeing that is it's real likely, with what we know between both runners, Mire's a pendant, but if it's not, that's kind of a big deal for WallKicks. Especially because, like, with Mire right here, just immediately and conveniently found, there's no way WallKicks isn't full clearing this dungeon right now.
Oh, thanks, game. That's amazing right there. It's just like, well, we haven't found Misery Mire, and the game just said, oh yeah, hold on, just give me a second. Wow. That WallKicks, yeah, can immediately jump in here with this big key. Only real thing to keep in mind is that that is going to put the 2 chests on the Firelock side there out of logic. With 0 Mire keys, this dungeon does become kind of a pain to route, but you do what you have to. You're here, you're going to take care of this right now.
I think the bigger thing I'd be worrying about as WallKicks, more so than the keys, is if we don't find more help, this is not going to be a great boss fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think what's in WallKicks bottles. I know one of them was empty, and the other one I don't actually know what's in there. But how about another big key to Tower of Hera here on the spike chest on WallKicks side? So, man, you can, and there's always also a chance, as Jay Coper points out, there are basically 8 items available here in Misery Mire. There's a decent chance that bows are also in here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that would be help. A bow, another sword. The cape would be a bigger deal than I think some people would intuitively realize. All of those could be big helps.
Cape on Vitreous right about now would be great, especially if you could pull up another sword and a cape. Vitreous goes from being 2 terrifying to, I'm just going to put on the cape and hit this button a whole bunch of times, and he's dead. So we're going to keep pushing it through. Now, if you get cape with only fighter sword, yeah, as T-Stu points out, that'll help you a bit, but it won't help you a ton.
I mean, it helps a ton relative to just not having it. Like, you would prefer to have other things instead, but...
Yeah, that's very true for sure there, as Goomba is working his way through Desert Palace there. Looks at the torch. I know WallKicks did show us that earlier. Goomba sees that it's just 20 rupees there and decides, yeah, no thank you. Alright, Firelock side of Mire. Nothing of interest there.
So Goomba was in Desert, which we know one of those entrances was on Dark Death Mountain. I think it's the one he didn't check, and he ended up passing through the top of Bumper Cave without the mirror. So that's a couple of bits of bad news for him. He's not going to find Thieves Town when it could have been convenient, and he's going to have to double back here later. But this will be Goomba clearing out Ice Palace.
So this will give us the quick look to whether or not anything of interest is in going to be in that Ice Palace big chest. So it's going to be a bit of a big moment here on Goomba's screen in just a second as we go grab flippers out of the big chest here in Misery Mire. And a small key to pod. So now, unfortunately, with 0 keys, WallKicks has to take the long walk back through the lobby to go all the way back to get to the easy path through this to Vitreous. This is never fun, but I mean, like I said before, if you're here and it's what you have to do, well, shrug your shoulders and just get on with it, I guess.
Kind of the relief that WallKicks doesn't know this is as big of a relief as it is, but so we know that between Swamp, Mire, and Turtle Rock, 2 of the 3 are pendants. But from WallKicks' pseudo perspective, our perspective on WallKicks, knowing that, the dip into Mire is probably required, because either Mire itself is a crystal, or Swamp is, in which case you need those flippers.
And looking at it, Swamp, we have not found Swamp as of yet, but okay, thanks game. We both did see WallKicks hit that switch with the hookshot the first time and nothing happened. Oh, I missed what was in the big chest. Nobody is flipping out about it, so can't have been anything. So how do you approach this Vitreous fight?
I stand on the left side and do spin attacks, and I take 3 minutes. Well, first I use all 9 of my bombs. Then I use spin attacks on the left side of the room just for safety, because you have 6 hearts, and hammer strats are way too risky until the number of eyes gets low. And then you hammer down the big eye.
That seems to be the best idea, and it looks like that's probably what WallKicks is going to go for here. He's hucking bombs at the eyes right now. Best idea is try to throw the bombs into the center and get as much as you can. Spin attacks if you can, but there's not a good way to do this with Fighter Sword. Luckily, we do have Hammer here at the end to kind of take care of the big eye once we get to that point. But again, like we said, man, you gotta do what you gotta do, unfortunately.
Yeah, the bombs are better than they feel, because unless you're really bad with the bombs, you should be getting at least 4 eyes per blast. So even though the total damage of a bomb blast is low, it adds up fast.
Shoutouts to the old days where you could have the bomb upgrades in the item pools, and you could just go into Vitreous having 30 bombs and Fighter Sword, and just take out all the small eyes that way. Now, I'm noticing WallKicks being very careful with these eyes here. In game 1, he did take a death to Vitreous with not unsimilar equipment. He did have a Fighter Sword at the time. I can't remember, but you can see that he is being very, very quick. Now, in the same time, in the time that it took me to say that sentence, Goomba has taken out Cold Stare.
WallKicks is choosing to fight this fight from the right side of the room, which for Vitreous, I guess it's not that bad, but I feel like in almost all fights, honestly, bosses tend to have an easier time hitting their right side than their left, so a little interesting.
Vitreous is just one of those really awkward fights there because you end up with not the best way to do it no matter what here. So, okay, WallKicks is going to have to go ahead and take care of Vidi here. And I want to say it's 16 hits with the hammer at this point.
It's a lot, but the second form of Vitreous is honestly, it's completely free if you know the pattern. And with 4 hearts left, WallKicks is pretty secure because he can take a hit.
And takes it down, and more importantly, we grab a crystal there on WallKick's side, so it's completely free if you do not accidentally mistime one of the shots there.
Well, I mean, the reason I said it was free in his case is because he's allowed 1 mistake, because he has blue mail, so he could survive a hit.
Oh, yeah, true.
It'd be scarier if you were allowed 0 mistakes.
Well, and Goomba has found his way up onto the mountain right now, and we are here. We are here into Thieves Town right now, so yeah, we are good to go. We've got everything we need. So this is going to be 8 items pulled out of Thieves Town with a crystal as well, and it looks like, yeah, maybe I was right, and we do have the 5-6 crystals, Desert Palace, and Hera are marked over on Goomba's side.
For what it's worth, I think we found that after you said that, but either way, what are we actually looking at for go mode here? We need a bow, we need a desert big key. Is that actually it?
At an hour in a finals match? Yes. I mean, yeah, we don't have much. Pod Big Key as well is being called out. Yeah, I guess Pod Big Key is another thing as well. As, wow, there goes Mothula down on a WallKick side, and everyone take a quick look at his health there. He didn't even take a single hit in there. Well done on WallKick side. As we hit the hour mark in, both runners are just flying through the seed at this point. 2 crystals completed on both sides, while Goomba very quickly going for his 3rd.
And yeah, this is really kind of the last place that's what I would call a good place to check is the back of Thieves Town. Between both runners. After this, both runners are going to have to start making a little bit more difficult decisions.
Yeah, at this point, it's going to be a little tricky now. So WallKick's going ahead. He's going to find this Thieves Town Big Key. So he's going to make his way pretty quickly over to Thieves Town as well, I believe. But no, he's deciding to go to the right, throwing me completely off. I figured that was a way to continue off to the right side. To the left side, I mean. But, instead, we're going to go and start checking. It looks like we're heading to the Dark Shopping Mall area. Alright, we got a Thieves Town Big Chest over here on Goomba's side. As WallKicks finishes up that quick Hylia Island check there to find nothing. Unfortunately, taking a little bit of damage there from those dive bombers on the way over. That's incredibly annoying random enemy there, and especially if you're on low hearts or fake flippering in the area. Goomba going on to his blind fight here, not expecting him to have any issues with this. WallKicks first there, going ahead and finding the archery game. And finds the back of Hookshot Cave next, though. So we're going to get a quick look at what this third area is over here. Find that it's just hammer pegs with just a piece of heart. Then we're going to go in and we're going to see what 4 items we've got hiding in Hookshot Cave right now. Only 1 bomb! Oh my god, no. WallKicks cannot continue.
So, WallKicks has a glove and a mirror. He can just abuse the 50-50 bomb bush to get a second bomb here. Let's see if he does it.
You are right. Yeah, that is good. That's a good game knowledge right there. Unfortunately, not getting it the first time, so we're going to have to go through and check. Goomba taking a quick map check there. He's now got all of the pendant crystal information on his side. Ugh, WallKicks just not having luck with these 50-50s. All right,
yeah,
third
with
time.
that map check, Goomba now knows what all the pendants and crystals are. We already knew, but him knowing's a big deal. The big question for Goomba, I think, is how early does he find his way to the Meyer Big Key?
Okay, now WallKicks making sure he walked the bomb to the door there. I was a little nervous that maybe he would have thrown it there. There's always a chance that if you're just on the wrong, basically on the wrong pixel and you throw that bomb, that sucker can just bounce right off the side, right off the wall, and then not explode it there. That's always a problem. We gotta get a small key to Pod and a small key to Misery Mire there. So otherwise, we've got Goomba climbing up Tower of Hera right now. Not really getting anything here. Setting up to dash past the bumper. Gets that, no problem.
Though I would point out that on Goomba's side, he has come here without the Hera Big Key. So that's an orphan for him. If the Hera Big Chest is one of our critical remaining items, that could be a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, and Moldorm says, "Get off my platform, Goomba," and punts him off real quick. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of one of the big differences here, as at the moment, WallKicks does have the mirror over Goomba. I don't know, I'm trying to remember anything that mirror has immediately led to. A lot has been happening in the past 2 minutes. As wow, this Moldorm fight is... Moldorm is bullying Goomba here.
Yeah, that's a pretty rare sight to see Goomba fail a boss multiple times in a row, but I guess everyone has a bad day, right?
Well, he takes him down. Got pushed around a little bit there. Takes him down. Does get a heart container out of that. Going to be crystal number 4 already for Goomba. And now we're starting to run a little low on things for him to do. As we find Waterfall Fairy over on WallKick's side with the big key to Pod. So there is one more of the things that we needed. And gets a free blue potion out of the Waterfall Fairy there, sitting at the monkey house in the Palace of Darkness area.
So WallKicks hasn't found Pod yet, but when he does, with a potion in his bag and 4 small keys and a big key, he's going to be able to take care of a lot of business. The big question is, like, the main access item we're missing from both sides is, where are the bows?
Yeah, that is a question right now. We don't have the GT... Oh, found one. It's behind that shovel. As Goomba immediately digs it up as you were mentioning it. So bows are located. That is going to make Goomba's Misery Mire fight a whole heck of a lot easier. Now, unfortunately for Goomba, he's got to get to that big key, which requires him to get up onto the TR ledge, which I want to say is through not the Paradox, through the Spectacle Rock Connector. The bottom of the Spectacle Rock Connector to get to. As he grabs his mirror...
So I don't know that we've confirmed that mirror is required. There might be another way into the Mire entrance. It's really the only thing WallKicks has been able to use it for yet. But yeah, it's... Between both runners, we need the Desert Big Key. Goomba needs to find his way to the Mire Big Key as well. Whereas WallKicks needs to find his way to GT, which is going to get him both Master Sword and TR Big.
And Goomba ends up over here in Pod area, finds himself the Mire Big Key immediately after, not the Mire Big Key, but the Pod Big Key. So now he can go, if he wants to, he could go and, well, I guess he only has the one Pod Key. Yeah, he'd have a decision of exactly what he'd want to do there. should be able to find one, as it looks like on the pyramid we did have the mushrooms, so there's another check that we can add to the list.
And there's just a little bit of pain for WallKicks being on top of the pyramid without a cape or a master sword. It always feels so bad leaving that entrance behind.
Yeah, no, that's an isolated, nasty thing here, and we're going to get to see immediately from Goomba whether or not that's going to be a problem, because he's headed up onto the pyramid with the Master Sword, so he'll be able to open that, and we'll know very quickly if this is going to be a big deal for WallKicks or not. First, we're going to stop to pick up that mushroom. And we have found Swamp over on WallKicks' side, up at basically the Dark Witch's hut there. And there's a big key to Desert Palace, and the first thing in the entrance, WallKicks takes it and just immediately mirrors out.
I mean, WallKicks is not the one with the Swamp small keys, so he had no choice but to do so. But that's a big deal, because that means that Meyer Big Key that's in kind of a bad place is on the critical path for Goomba, because Meyer Big Key leads to Flippers, leads to Desert Big.
That is true.
If that's the only value in Swamp, that's even better for WallKicks, because he won't be baited to continuing.
Yep. No, 100% there. I mean, the big thing for WallKicks right now is if he can get himself over towards the Village of Outcasts area, which is kind of funny to say, because, I mean, that is a pretty, standard area for a lot of runners to start in, but WallKicks just hasn't been over there. That's where GT is. That's where, I want to say that's where the shovel is, if I remember right, because shovel will be WallKicks' bow, his second sword, and if I'm not mistaken, that would be WallKicks' go mode.
WallKicks needs the Thieves' Big Key. Wasn't that in that area too?
That's over, I want to say that's over on a Stumpy, I want to say, yeah.
Oh yeah, Stumpy has that, then Dig Game has Eastern Big, which we don't need, but it's there.
Yeah, so I mean, like, WallKicks would be in very good shape. Now, the problem is that, like, going to Stumpy at this point, when you have dungeons to clear, might not be something you do immediately. But with it being Stumpy, having both your Thieves Town Big Key and your bow, you'd get in go.
Stumpy and Dig Game, and that'll put him in go mode. WallKicks has a very clear path to finishing the seed. I think Goomba's ahead a little bit on material progress. It's close, but he is. But Goomba has a harder thing to locate in that Meyer Big.
You're 100% right. I mean, that Meyer Big it requires you to go through connectors and mirror and all sorts of things that are just not fast. So I'm with you there. I don't really expect Goomba to get there immediately, but then again, Goomba went 8-0 through the group stages here, as Catfish is going to throw WallKicks there at the cape, which, not something he necessarily needs, but you're not going to say no to by any means.
In all honesty, that's kind of a negative find for WallKicks here, because it's really likely he now goes right back to the pyramid instead of just hookshotting over and going to the Village of Outcasts.
Well, we'll find out exactly what he decides to do there, whether he's going to kind of worry about isolating that one check versus this, as we're going to get a sword there on Zora Ledge there for WallKicks, so that's going to give him at least Tempered Sword, assuming he goes and clears through GT.
And I feel like it's extremely likely he does that, because he needs a bow no matter what. The bow we know about is gated by clearing GT. We don't know where the other bow is, but it seems really likely it's somewhere bad.
More than likely. I mean, this is one of those times where if Helmasaur drops silvers, we all just kind of laugh and go, yeah, of course.
But I mean, if Helmasaur drops silvers, that's confirmation WallKicks must go to GT.
You are right, and right now we are headed through the back of Old Man Cave, as I'm trying to remember. This is going to go check that one Bombos Locked Mire entrance right now and see exactly what we are going to get here.
I don't think we've seen all the mirror entrances in this area either, so this is very logical from WallKicks, but unless the other bow's over here, this is just not where he needs to be.
And we'll have to see, because unfortunately, yeah, I mean, we're very, low on actual like location, like valuable locations. Like we found all of the big ones. I think we might still be missing the Pyramid Fairy for like for an item cave with like multiple items in it. But other than that, we are pretty much completely empty here. But on WallKick's side, we're going to continue through. He's going to check Checkerboard Cave entrance here, and he will go ahead and find the bomb shop, which tells you what we already know, that it's Tower of Hera and Desert Palace. So for WallKicks, that doesn't look like it's given him a full pendant knowledge quite yet. He might have it. We're not 100% sure there.
Yeah, I think he'll know as soon as he walks in the front door of Pod. Which, again, it's all about WallKicks just needs to go to the Village of Outcast area, and the whole seed's in front of him as soon as he does that. Goomba's heading to Laser Bridge, which, like, the only way I can blame him is I would have done it even earlier, but we know it's wrong. There's not really going to be anything great here. He could find Sword 4, he could find the other bow. Any other progression item he finds is a red herring.
Yeah, you're right there. I mean, the biggest thing is this where we're gonna find our other bow? Well, we're gonna find Laser Bridge. So I mean, for WallKicks here, if Goomba ended up finding it, it's not gonna matter. WallKicks beat him to it. Some nice laser skips here for WallKicks as we get the book at the very top of Laser Bridge.
Yeah, and here's where there's a little bit of good news for WallKicks not having the TR big key here, because it just saves him a Trinex fight, which we know Trinex is a total waste of time in this seed.
Yeah, and it does look like we do not have a map over here for Turtle Rock on WallKick's side, because he does not have the little indicator on the top left of his screen that this is a pendant or a crystal right now. So for him, he might be considering coming back there later. That'll change the moment that he does find Pod, though. But instead, we are headed into the eastern area for WallKicks here, and I think we're going to go back through Desert, or we're going to go check the Desert Palace Big Chest, it does look like.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to me, just the extent to which WallKicks is fading the western regions of the Dark World, because, like, the whole seed's in front of him at this point, but he might not realize that in finding that Meyer big key, he's actually already solved the big troll of the seed.
Yeah, I mean, this is the issue with Crosskeys at times. Like, it's very easy to not know when you found the big thing, so you start chasing a lot of these other kind of one-off locations. You don't want to. You don't want to leave items behind because you're never 100% sure where the items are going to be. And in this case, for WallKicks, all he needs to do is go to the Village of Outcast area.
Actually, wait, no, this is really smart, because this goes to Bumper Ledge, right?
This does go to Bumper Ledge. You are right. So yeah, he's going to be right over here. You're right.
Yeah, this is just him avoiding orphaning the Foothills entrance.
This is right. And that is up. This is a connector. This is going to take us to... Well, WallKicks does not care because he's decided I found all of my important connectors.
He was about to do it, and then he was like, wait a minute, there's nowhere this could go I want to be more than here.
Yeah, so he immediately just decides, gets about halfway down there, up the Foothills cave there, and just leaves. He's gone, and now he is into the Village of Outcasts area. So very... very quickly, WallKicks is going to start finding very important things for him.
And more good news for WallKicks is that Goomba's finding Meyer here. It's good news for him because Goomba's going to clear out Meyer without the big key, and he's going to get absolutely nothing. The big chest of Meyer and the crystal are the two values here.
Yep, this is a little bit of time lost for Goomba for sure, and like you mentioned, the flippers being locked in the Misery Mire big chest right now are gonna put Goomba kind of behind it.
And
Now,
I really can't blame WallKicks for doing the Skull Woods region when you have the Fire Rod, but there's no value here either. Just please don't med check. Just please don't WallKicks.
we'll have to see if he does here. I'm looking at pedestal requirements right now. I mean, he's what, 3 TR keys away from it even being a thing?
Yeah, he needs logically all the TR small keys. He has 2 of them. He needs the TR big key. He needs the Swamp small key he hasn't found. He needs, well, I guess he's actually found 2 of the dungeons. He hasn't found Eastern or the Eastern big key. So he's nowhere near doing ped.
I mean, but at the same time, you kind of every once in a while kind of go, I'm here. When else am I going to be here? And so, yep, of course he's going to go in. So,
I mean, my answer for when else I'm going to be here would be never. I'm never coming back. But he checked it, found the red mail, and now with his time loss baked in, he can move on and do productive checks.
Right, and sure enough, yep, he's going back through Skull Woods right now, and he'll head back towards the area. Back towards the area he needs to be there in Village of Outcasts. So pretty quickly, we're gonna see the important things as Goomba is still working his way through Misery Mire. Best thing you could say for Goomba is that when he came here, he did have a small key, so the routing of it isn't as terrible as it was for WallKicks.
Yeah, but whatever time savings having that Mire small gives Goomba, you're more than make up for it just from having to dive twice.
Oh, definitely. And the other part of it is that we're gonna get that big key to Tower of Hera on Goomba's side, so that adds his one-off checks to his list for later. But WallKicks is about to get everything that he needs in just a moment here. So he's heading down to this. Now, the decision point for him is, what is he going to do with this Eastern Palace? He walks in right now, turns around, and leaves. And it looks like we're going to go clear Hera first on his side, which makes perfect sense. Quick mirror over here. He's got all of the items he needs. You can't check the basement, but we don't want to go there anyway, if at all possible. Ooh, very smooth Hera pot.
Yeah, this is really logical from WallKicks. You know it's a crystal. These items could help put you in go mode. For all we know, they could. Could be the other bow in the Hera big chest.
We got a small key to Skull Woods instead. But unfortunately, yep, not going to be that easy for him. Goomba, on the other side, is running up to check the pedestal right now. He's going to see the red mail on that. It makes a lot more sense on Goomba's side because, I mean, he does have the ability to clear Eastern Palace right now, and he knows that as soon as he finds flippers, he'd have the ability to clear Swamp Palace right now. So for him, he'd be a lot closer to having the 3 pendants. Now, logically, of course not, but you know, at some point, you just kind of do things and try to be as efficient as possible. And there goes Moldorm down on WallKick's side, and we've got his crystal there. That is crystal number 5 for WallKicks.
Yeah, and the biggest risk WallKicks faces in my book is he has 4 pod small keys. WallKicks absolutely must preserve a pod small key to beat pod. Because really the only way I don't see WallKicks being on a straight shot through this seed is if he wastes all his pod small keys and has to go on an adventure to find another one.
Yeah, you're right. There is a lot of ways you could go through that. Hopefully he's gonna be able to just get this without any problem here. But let's take a quick look because he's about to go into pod right now.
to go for somewhat of a divergence, because we got this question in chat and I actually know about this. So the area the pedestal is actually not an entrance. The pedestal area, the Hobo area, and the Zora River area are special overworld entrances. Well, they're not even entrances. They're just special overworld regions. They actually have Dark World equivalents. If you force the game to load them, the game crashes.
I did not know that, but I am also completely unsurprised that you know that. I actually have so many questions for you at some point later about entrance here, and I know that you would know all of them. So, but now is not exactly the time for that, for me to start asking you about my favorite modes. So we got Goomba moving back towards Helmasaur immediately here. He did find the Bacon Sword, Tempered Sword here over on the Bowlock side of Pod here. Was able to use his bow to get through. WallKicks is just going to go ahead and Potion Glitch his way through here. He'll be getting his Bacon Sword as well. So, I mean, I think that means once WallKicks gets to GT, he's going to be looking at having Butter Sword.
Yeah, that's the path WallKicks is on, and the Gold Sword doesn't really save any time from this point onward. The main boss that the Gold Sword saves time on is Trinex, which Goomba's already fought, and it would require tragedy to unfold, probably resulting in Goomba winning this race for WallKicks to go fight Trinex.
Yeah, I mean, with it being, I mean, the biggest thing is you kind of, if you're rooting for WallKicks right now, you actually really do not want to see a bow in the back of Pod right now.
Honestly, is it bad if he finds a bow here? Because if he finds a bow here, like, he's Stumpy from Go mode, but do you think finding a bow encourages him to never go to Stumpy?
It disincentivizes it, I think, in a way, because he could go back to Swamp, he could climb GT, he could do a whole bunch of things that he really shouldn't do.
Like, I think one item from Go mode, climbing GT would be a hard call to make when you have Stumpy and the dig game right down there. Like, I agree. No, I agree. I'm just saying it. I will say, I think it would make him a lot more I mean, he's still going to be just as likely with a bow to clear GT basement anyway. In that case, it would be for nothing, whereas with what we currently know, it would be for Shovel, which is a path for him finishing.
Well, true. So he does his hammer jump, gets across, finds a key to Ganon's tower here. Doesn't, so far, we're not finding anything. And what's more important is, like, as you mentioned, he is saving one Pod small key here. Not going to use all of the Pod keys here. And what are we doing here? Are we setting up? Yeah, okay. For a second there, I was wondering if he was going to set up a save scum, but nope, doesn't look like it. He's just going to mirror directly out, making the correct call there.
Yeah, like, this is the pretty standard Pod route with 4 keys where you just gamble. You don't need the vanilla big key chest. And in this case, the standard route is going to prove to be the best possible route for WallKicks.
All right, and there's the big key to Turtle Rock for WallKicks as he's now into GT right now. He'll be getting pretty much everything in this basement, and then if he just continues a little bit further along this route and doesn't mirror out and flute away or anything like that, he will find him. How did he bonk there? I am very confused game, but all right, sure.
Yeah, it's actually so funny how this whole GT basement, he's going to find so many interesting things, but the only one that actually matters at all is the shovel.
Yep, and if he just continues south just a little bit more, that'll be it for him. As we've got Goomba going in to finish off Eastern Palace right now, so he's gonna go a little bit further on this. This is the big issue for Goomba right now, is that that Misery Mire Big Key being, being where it is just difficult. It's in Ice Rod Cave, which I want to say was on the, basically the Turtle Rock Bridge, which to get to that, you need to go through the Spectacle Rock connector. So for Goomba, that is a really difficult place to kind of get back to right now. Alright, as we're just watching both runners just kind of make their way through this here. For anyone just joining, go ahead.
Will save a little bit of time over Goomba here, just because he's going to have a much bigger sword for Ice Armos.
That is true. If he comes through, he does have powder, so he should go into that. He should go into that one as that. He should go into that fight with sword beams, so that'll be really quick. Alright, as Goomba goes ahead, he works down the Armos fight over here on his side, takes it down with a nice thing, and hey, okay, I had the wrong boss. It was Armos Knights with the other bow.
So there's very little chance WallKicks sees silvers here. That's a bit of an advantage for Goomba, especially given that he still has Vitreous to fight, but at this point, if Goomba's going to win this race, he has to find his way to that Mire Big Key in a hurry. Because WallKicks is almost out of this sort of long linear route that inevitably is going to feed him into both of his remaining Go Mode items.
No, you're 100% right there, and that's kind of the crazy thing. Like, we are sitting here. It's game 2 of the finals in this 2021 Crosskeys tournament. We are an hour and a half in, and both of the runners here are within basically one check, one or one and a half, 2 checks of being in Go Mode. As Goomba is just he's firing off all of these one-off checks here, looking through all of these areas here, trying to find it, checking that green pendant turn in.
Like,
nothing.
To talk about the routing in general a bit, like from Goomba's perspective, Goomba's playing smart. Because what Goomba needs to do is he needs to take an obscure connector in order to find a single entrance cave when there's not many entrances with items left in them, and that just has the Mire Big Key. Checking all these known items, clearing out dungeons, this is so much more efficient, and from what he knows, much more likely to pay off. We just happen to know it's all wrong, and those mitts are not going to help Goomba's cause.
Oh no, oh man, finding mitts when they're not required in Crosskeys is one of the worst things that can happen to you, because now you've just opened yourself up to Smith Chain, which is, I mean, in this case is not terrible. Oh, wow, what a nice double kill over on WallKicks' side here. Gets his 50 rupees, gets some other stuff, and that. So he now has his shovel, and okay, he's going to Tile Room.
I guess he figured 2 items from Go Mode, he might be in Go Mode skipping Tile Room, but yeah, and there's no risk of him climbing, by the way, because in order to climb, you need a bow. You could but when you're 2 items from Go Mode, one of them being a bow, mimic clipping to climb would be, I mean, honestly, it'd be dumb. It'd be really dumb.
It would be awful there. Just the moment I saw him mirror back and come back into there, I didn't realize that he hadn't done Tile Room there, so I got really worried very quickly for a second. But yeah, no, it looks like he's going to be fine, as he's just going to spend a couple of seconds here dodging tiles.
He could use the cape and hold a wall, but I guess he likes high input instead of low input strategies.
As long as he kills this last one before the hand drops down, he's not losing any time doing it there. There's not really a good way to do it. Now, we've got Goomba over here. He's going to show us exactly what the Smiths have. He's going the wrong way there, but yep, he just realized. And we found, so WallKicks gonna go ahead and clear out this route. Could very easily be in Go Mode within the next like 2 minutes here, as Goomba checks the Smiths, finds a small key to Turtle Rock. So I mean, logically necessary, but not actually necessary today.
You say logically necessary. Wasn't Turtle Rock completely bait this seed?
Wait, you are right. Yeah, no, that's right. I'm just you're 100% right there. Yeah, Turtle Rock was completely useless there for this. And WallKicks is of course gonna take the time, go into Eastern Palace here. So this is not gonna help. I'm gonna give a little time back to Goomba.
Hey, I'm sure he'll feel happy to know in the interview that the other bow was in here.
I mean, man, if you could only just get through those red Igors there, if we can mimic clip those red Igors here, things would be so much easier. Well, sure enough, you got 5 items available in Eastern. This makes perfect sense. On Goomba side, we've got purple chest.
Now, this is kind of an interesting situation in terms of you look at the relative go modes. If Goomba has a faster finish after he hits go mode than WallKicks right now. So Goomba will have a little bit of a time buffer once WallKicks hits go mode.
Yep. And I'm also very curious to see exactly where WallKicks goes after this. I gotta believe he's going south. Just from trying to go over his route in my head, I don't think he'll have any other entrances really available, or like big, obvious, come here sort of entrances, but hard to say exactly. WallKicks, you have
So I've missed a lot of little nuance in this run due to stream buffering, but I certainly saw WallKicks do the classic pause to see if you have big key. Gotta love it. I do the same thing all the time.
Yeah, that's always a moment where you're just wanting to double check there because I mean, to be honest, I thought he had big key there for a second, and then I was about to say, wait, where are you going? And nah, he doesn't have that. That's down on the dig game, so that's another reason for him to go south.
It's so funny. He's going to find that big key. He's going to be immediately frustrated. He found it right after digging Eastern. Then he's going to go over to Stumpy, and he's just going to hit go mode in 2 back-to-back checks, and he's going to learn that all of this was a waste of his time.
Well, here's a big moment here. He does have the opportunity that if he wanted to, he could turn north and go up to... Wait, where? Oh, so we're going to go... Oh, he found a pod key. Okay, that's what he's doing. So he's going to go into pod. Now, the thing that kind of scares me is he's kind of got a choice here. There is Spike Cave right above him. There in the light world. If he wants to, he could go up to Spike Cave right now.
Light world, Sank's right there. You have a flute. There's no way you do that. You're orphaning the dig game is what you're doing.
Yeah, no, you are. But I mean, that is the thing. You're choosing both of those options. We're gonna have to see right now exactly which way he goes because he got nothing from that. Hopefully, he goes south. Yeah, he's going south. Okay. Here we go,
yeah,
where everything
honestly,
is good.
If WallKicks had gone to Spike Cave here, it would have just been a bad play. It would have, possibly thrown the game away, and, well, I wouldn't have felt that bad for him. But he's going the right way. He's still going to do a little extra stuff, like he's almost certainly going to check the race game entrance, and Small Key to Swamp Palace is going to have the gears turning. He's going to be like, okay, I'll just finish this area and I'll go to Swamp. Little does he know that the next part of that plan is never going to be put into motion.
Well, yeah, so it looks like WallKicks is making all the right plays here. Goomba, though... Okay, so, now I'm kind of getting very curious about Goomba's route right now because he's heading on the north side of... on the top of Death Mountain right now. If he drops down at the Spiral Cave entrance... That is the direction he needs to go. The Spiral Cave entrance is the top side of the Spectacle Rock connector, which will take him to his Misery Mire Big Key. So both runners may be here in just a second. Oh no, WallKicks! Where are you going?
That's baffling.
That's Swamp Palace. That's what that is. That is Swamp Palace. Now,
so, I'm just gonna say it honestly. Like, Goomba's not necessarily going the right way, but I don't see how Goomba loses from here because Goomba has sufficiently little left that Goomba's going to just find where that connector goes and get the Mire big key. Like, WallKicks is about to full clear Swamp Palace for nothing. There is nothing in the rest of this dungeon.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, you make choices in this mode here as Goomba goes ahead and finds a big key to Skull Woods, which gives him one more check here in the Turtle Rock entrance. But it is, yeah, unfortunately, man, this is just gonna cost WallKicks, and we know that there's no bow in here. There's really nothing in here for him. Now, Goomba might not go to... Never mind.
Yeah, in all honesty, so here's a little comfort for WallKicks fans and perhaps WallKicks himself. Well, no,
gosh, Goomba turning around.
Like, if Goomba had done that, I think he would have won the race, even if WallKicks had gone the right way. Because Goomba has a faster go mode. But now we're in interesting territory.
Yeah, I don't know what to say right now. I'm sitting here and I'm just going like, both runners are doing the like right next to the spot that they needed to be a second ago, and both deciding not to do that. Goombas, I completely understand both of them right now, because I mean
I'm gonna be honest, I don't understand WallKicks' decision. I do understand Goombas, because from Goomba's perspective, there's just so little left that random connectors, like, the only useful place a connector could go would be the TR middle bridge, and even then, the value of these entrances isn't very high. Of course, we know that's everything pays off, but that's the power of hindsight, is what we have there.
Well, yeah, we can see everything. I mean, that is really what it is right now. It's just like, we know everything, and Goomba, so Goomba is going to come up here. He's going to grab this one extra item up here. And then, man, it's a bit of a question here, man. I'm trying to remember. Okay, so the two entrances for Goomba that he could go to that would be really good for him are Dark Link's house, and the and kind of the Spiral Cave sort of, and the Spiral Cave entrance there on Dark Death Mountain. Like, he can go one of those two areas.
Brought up by chat that probably the most logical play from Goomba's perspective with what he has left is going to be to climb GT. And we know that that's going to be a complete waste of time. That I might have buried WallKicks a little too early, because after he's done wasting time in Swamp, maybe he goes back to Stumpy. He doesn't really have a lot of other places to go.
Well, he's got the
worst thing he could do would be go there in the Light World, but I mean, WallKicks can't climb. He doesn't have a bow.
He doesn't have a bow, right?
And we know the other bow is bow locked. Like, the only way WallKicks can fully screw himself and end up climbing is if he goes to the dig spot in Light World. But that would be just, without Stumpy checked, why would you do that?
Yeah, it's a good point. That is a good point. And wow, finding the oh, okay, so Goomba's going to find the big key to Swamp Palace here behind the Desert Small Key that he pulled out of the TR big chest there in at the pod entrance. That was a kind of a nice little sequence there. The Desert Palace Small Key locked in the pod entrance, with the Desert Palace right entrance locked at Eastern Palace. So just a quick mirror check over as WallKicks picks up the Ether Medallion here in Swamp, which is a big whoopsie-doo.
That is an extra thing to quick swap through that has no functional purpose in the seed.
that is a good point right there. That is a good point. Well, he's going to go off and he's going to kill Argus here and not going to find anything. Goomba checking the top of Death Mountain here. So we'll probably get to see exactly what is the other side of this entrance, or not. Goomba deciding, nope, I'm not going to check this connector either.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Goomba at this point he's done with connectors until it's proven he needs them. We know that's a very wrong way to go about it, but Goomba's probably going to go back into pod, check whatever he has left behind in there, and climb GT shortly. I mean, he's going to do like Skullwood's big chest, but that's just a bump on the road to that general plan.
As WallKicks takes 4 Ice Rod shots there to Argus, takes him down, no problem. Saves and quits because he knows that pendant is completely useless there, so he's not going to waste the time picking that up. Now the question is, where's he going? Save and quit to Mountain Cave, so this is going to put him on the mountain, pulling out his mirror, and I imagine we're fluting away to somewhere. But if we flute to 4, this gets very good for him. We are fluting to 6.
He's going to use his book, check one more entrance. That's fine. This isn't going to have that much consequence.
This is a Trinex kill, is what this is. I think this is Laser Bridge entrance right here. We're gonna kill Trinex.
Yeah.
So I mean, at this point, it's one eye. You're thinking I need to find the items, yeah?
I mean, the worst part is WallKicks probably. In all honesty, what WallKicks is probably thinking is if it's Stumpy Dig game, I've already lost. But he doesn't... I don't think he's considering how bad that Meyer Big Key location could be.
It is, man, it is a wild one here. We got Goomba coming back into pod for the big chest. This is not going to be anything for him. Now, the good news for WallKicks is Trinex with a Butter Sword is not hard at all. He's already taken down both of the heads here. We got just a quick double spin and a slash there, and Trinex will drop a nothing for him as well. And there he goes. Alright, now Goomba looks like he is about to do that GT climb, so WallKicks is going to have at least a good, we'll say, 4 minutes here for him to go to Stumpy. Alright, so he's starting at Link's house, but pulling out the flute.
I will say that, again, you have to remember that Goomba has a tiny bit of buffer here, because what Goomba has to do is once he finds the Meyer Big Key, he immediately saves and quits, clears Meyer, he'll get the Flippers on the way, Flippers will scream out Swamp, very first chest of Swamp, Desert Big Key, go kill Landmo. What WallKicks has to do is he has to get his Thieves Big Key and his bow from basically the same location. Then he has to go clear Thieves, which is a very long dungeon, and he also has to go kill Helmisar King, which is another really long walk. In a place he doesn't have a fast overworld trip to get to it.
Yep, no, you're right. And right now we've got WallKicks at Bombo's tablet here. We're going to assume he's going to walk back into his portal. He's thinking about it.
Yeah, I suspect WallKicks is going to check the South of Grove Cave, then head up to Stumpy, find the Thieves Big Key, probably start panicking, hopefully remember to dig before going to Thieves, and find his bow.
Man, that's the thing. That shovel is buried underneath the flute. It is unbelievably easy to forget that you have it. You might immediately get this big key and just go, I'm going right now. Big key to Thieves Town. Mirrors. Okay, this is going to be go mode for WallKicks in just about 2 seconds here. This is pretty fantastic for him.
So, if WallKicks was in partial panic mode before, he's in full panic now, because he knows he could have been done 10 minutes ago.
And there you go. He is just running as fast as he can to get to this portal over here in the...
So, is there a good connector from the Village of Outcast area up to the mountain? Because it feels like it would have been faster to do Thieves first, hoping you got either the mitts or the silvers from...
Honestly, not really. Like, you could go up to clear Thieves Town first, and then if you wanted to, you could have gone to the other entrance up on Dark Death Mountain there, which is Desert Middle, which would have taken you to... if you go Desert Left out of there, you could have gone to top of Bumper Cave.
Yeah, the main reason I would have done Thieves first is just if Blind happens to drop the mitts. We know he doesn't, but WallKicks doesn't know that. Then you would have a faster way in here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's fair. That is something here. Now, Goomba is on top of GT right now, and for him, he knows that Uncle is behind GT, so for him, he's thinking 6 items up here, so he's going to sink the full trip into this here as he gets the second castle tower key there out of the peg room. Okay, and we've got this Ganon sitting today at Useless Fairy for WallKicks. So I mean, we're gonna be in the right sort of area for a quick flute to 2 for whichever of these runners gets their 7 crystals the first.
At this point, it feels like it's probably gonna be WallKicks. He has a clear path. Goomba's gonna be in it if he literally beelines the Meyer Big Key, but even then, it's going to be close. If he does literally anything else other than the right move after finishing this, I don't think he has any hope to catch up.
I kind of tend to agree with you here, but you know, we'll have to see. It almost assuredly it does feel like WallKicks definitely has the advantage here, as Goomba fighting Agatu right now. Well, I think he probably got got screwed on one of those energy balls hits, but either way, Agatu's down, so he'll get to go see what exactly is locked behind the Uncle. We got WallKicks here in the Helmasaur fight right now. This is assuming he can handle this, he'll have his 6th crystal.
If WallKicks can't handle Helmasaur King with blue mail 10 hearts and a gold sword, he would have a lot more problems than just this run.
Oh yeah, no kidding, eh? And sure enough, there he goes ahead, he takes down Helmasaur, gets his 6th crystal. Now he's going to take a quick mirror, take a quick flute to the mountain, dash up there, go through the portal down into the Spike Cave entrance to get to Thieves Town. Goomba finding nothing.
Goomba found more than nothing. He found probably the single worst item he could have found, the Hera Small Key.
Okay, yeah, that's terrible. Oh, well, hold on a second.
I think he's going to the Bombos Monolith.
Yeah, probably. That would make sense. He is going to be right next to where he kind of needs to go, but yeah, Bombo's tablet for sure here.
Yeah, I think Goomba could still it'd be tough, but he could maybe have caught up if he'd gone like straight north. Between the fact that his dungeons are faster than Thieves and he has silvers, it would be really close.
I don't know.
Even this check here alone, I think this is the difference. Goomba's drawing dead now.
I gotta be honest, I think Meyer, even when you are kind of just go-moding it, sort of, it's not a fast dungeon. It's long and annoying, and doesn't matter, we're fluting away anyway, so
but yeah, at this point there's just not enough time left in the run for Goomba to catch up, because WallKicks is already in Thieves. He's working his way through the back. It's an annoying dungeon to go mode because it's just so linear. He might check the chest here for silvers. He won't get them. It's not going to matter one way or the other.
I kind of love this route by Goomba, though, because he's heading back up the mountain here through, or is this the mountain? I'm trying to remember. I want to say this is the mountain. Yeah.
I don't think Goomba had taken that. Goomba's starting to take connectors. He chose the wrong connector first, which, I mean, he's not psychic. He can't have known. WallKicks is not checking chests for silvers. Is silently rewarded by there being nothing in any of the chests he's about to skip.
And we're going to keep going here. Gonna go check the Zora area over on Goomba's side here. Real quick, Dixo. That's one of the worst entrances you could possibly have when you're fake flippering.
I always think about that entrance when I fake flipper into there. I'm really glad to be justified there.
I will never forget the day that I fake flippered into that entrance, only to be greeted by the laser eyes entrance of Turtle Rock. That ended badly.
Yeah, the place I had a really bad time was that restock hut. It's legitimately very hard not to die to that.
Oh yeah, of course. So we're going to go again here, and this time I don't think we're going to be checking that entrance. We're just going to hope that this crab plays nice and doesn't nail us real fast, and yep, Goomba's fine. But on the other side, WallKicks is about to finish off his 7th crystal, so this should be pretty much all she wrote for Goomba in just about a second.
For what it's worth, I bet Goomba does not bother picking up that sword.
No chance he'll pick up that sword, I think. You know, it's just not that big of a difference here.
Like, it would actually help. Like, well, he has silver, so it wouldn't really matter. It's like, it is technically a faster Vitreous fight, you know, cape plus boots plus gold sword. You just kind of run through all the eyes, but it's not faster enough to justify picking that up.
Right. And Ganon's a little bit faster, but I mean, nah.
I mean Ganon's the same speed unless you make mistakes. Gold sword just makes it impossible to mess up Ganon, is really what it does.
Well, at this point, we are into 7 crystals for WallKicks, so we are fluting to 2, and it is going to be time to take on Ganon in just a moment here, as we are dashing over, going to jump in the water, swim to the other ladder, and then into fight Ganon. And
Goomba's going the right way for the Meyer Big Key. It's too late, but he will have the Meyer Big Key before WallKicks is done.
Does look that way, yep, and that is going to be, I guess, cold comfort to Goomba at this point, but he at least will be on the right path. WallKicks needed to be, you know, maybe a little bit careful here with his health. Don't want to hug Ganon at this point, but into phase 3. As Goomba does pick up his Misery Mire Big Key and is probably going, oh, I think I'm dead.
Yeah, he's probably not feeling great about finding that as late as he did. He probably doesn't know that he's dead, because that really is a bad location. He's very efficiently going straight back to Mire. He's going to get his flippers, immediately think, you know, my last item's probably in Swamp, and he'll be right. He'll get his crystal, and, well, before he gets his crystal, he'll just see the dot done.
And WallKicks makes very certain they're using the lamp to get Torch Glitch on Ganon here. He's going to set up for doubles and triples from this point forward. Make sure that he gets all of the spins on him here. 12 spins in phase 4 to go ahead and take down Ganon. Misses the triple on this round here, but at this point, as you know, even if he were to fall, he'd feel terrible about it, but he'd still be quite ahead here. Maybe 1, maybe 2 more spins should take care of this here. He went for the sword slash there. Would have been kind of nice there. But down goes Ganon on WallKick's side here. We are moving on to a game 3. Go ahead, get your GGs into chat here for WallKicks here as he takes game 2 of the grand finals here between him and Goomba. Well done to WallKicks here as he finishes with a time of, waiting for it to show up, 156.16.
And Goomba has stopped moving at a minimum, so I don't know if he is forfeited or if he's just offering congratulations.
That would be a forfeit there from Goomba almost immediately there. So yeah, we're gonna be looking for when this game 3 is gonna be between these two runners. And as right now, we are joined in the room here by WallKicks there. Great race, buddy. GG's.
GG's. Little surprised I won this. I'm talking to Goomba a bit, so I understand what tripped him up, but. Man, yeah. when I got the Thieves Big and Bow back to back, I'm like, I opened the race room right then and there, and I'm like, is Goomba done?
Yeah, like my first 2 questions for you, WallKicks, were going to be, do you know why you won, and do you know why you could have lost?
To answer your questions, yes. I mean, being 2 items from Go Mode at like 1 hour and 20, having not touched Pod, not touched Eastern, not touched Swamp, not touched GT, and have all of those be empty. Although, admittedly, I don't remember where the shovel was.
The shovel was in GT. So
okay, so
from our perspective, we were watching it, and we were like, okay, WallKicks is on a clear path to finish. He just needs to go to Village of Outcast. Once he's there, he'll find GT, he'll find the shovel. He'll inevitably just drop down. He'll do Dig Game Stumpy, Mirror, Dig. He'll be in go mode. When you fluted away to do the swamp in the middle of that, it was like, okay, WallKicks just threw that race away.
And oh my god, like, I mean, because you're checking Stumpy at like the hour 45 mark. Like at that point, if there's something there in your head, you got to imagine you're not doing well.
The thing that made it seem more appealing was the shovel,
Yeah, and I should have. That's the thing. I don't know why I didn't.
Yeah, and we're joined by Goomba as well. GG on that race. I'm sure you were just killed by the Meyer Big Key completely, but
well, obviously that was my last location in the game.
Yeah, and
absolute last spot, except for Hera Basement, but that wasn't in Logic, so I didn't go for it.
I don't know if WallKicks told you in the post-race chatting, but the very first chest in Swamp is Desert Big. You were actually a lot closer in this race than it.
Yeah, I mean, I was only like 5 minutes out. Which,
GG's,
considering I full cleared the entire video game, I'll take it, I guess.
Yeah.
But...
yeah, and like honestly, like that Meyer Big Key, it was in a terrible location. WallKicks routing just kind of happened to lead him there much earlier and more easily, and like it seemed like that was just going to be a huge advantage for the entire back half of the race, and then well, it kind of proved to be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of it was what in. I don't remember where it was, but it was TR Bridge. I just don't remember where that connector was.
You had to take the Spectacle Rock connector.
That's right.
You both bomb jumped across it the first time, so you would just have to go back to check the bottom later. You went back to it at some trip through the mountain.
Yeah.
I think the mirror facilitated you making that trip, because you had the mirror earlier.
It did. And
when you landed on Laser Bridge and got that Meyer Big, it's like, oh, that's significant. And then you found the flippers in that big chest. Because at the time, we didn't know what the last crystal was, but the flippers told us, as long as it wasn't Turtle Rock, that your sequence was very, very good for you. And then you got the crystal from Meyer and the Desert Big Key from the first chest in Swamp, when you didn't have the Swamp Small Key, and it's like, oh man, this is beautiful for WallKicks. And you lost a little bit of that beauty, but you didn't lose all of it.
Yeah. Overall, like I said, I can't complain with how the seed went, aside from getting hard baited into Swamp before picking up Bow and Thieves Big, like right next to it. But I'm pretty happy with how all this went. Did you guys see me farming the 50-50 rock so I can bomb the second wall in Hookshot Cave?
Hey, I called out that as a play before you started doing it.
Didn't realize I didn't have any bombs. I had just done Fighter Sword Vidi.
Walther was yelling at you for skipping that one shop on Hylia Island there. The Pond of Happiness there. You skipped it with two bombs, and he was yelling at you. You're going to dark shopping mall. Buy some bombs, and then it turned out to be actually really important.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention to my bombs at that point.
But yeah, other than that, this seed came early and fast with just so many powerful items. Like, you both they were different routes. They were, those classic intertwining routes where you do different things and then immediately do what the other did. And you had probably 15 good items in the first half hour.
Yeah, I mean, it was very, very front-loaded. Very surprised. I don't think Turtle Rock had anything, considering what we had early on for that.
Yeah, Turtle Rock was total bait. I think it had a logically relevant, but not practically relevant GT Small Key.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I was thinking with what you had early, like, yeah, TR is everything. This seed's setting them up for TR, setting up to lose time in TR.
But guys, I guess I think we got to ask the big question here: is have you guys talked anything about Game 3?
Not really.
Nope. I'm sure it'll get scheduled soon. What's up?
Soon TM.
Yeah. You want to do this tomorrow, same time, or would you rather a little bit? Oh no, yeah, you.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, you're all right.
Sunday
I'll do
at the earliest, probably.
Yeah, Sunday's fine. I can do a Retrance and Crosskeys both.
That's so gross.
Sorry.
No, dude, don't apologize, man. Like I've been doing this for like 3 weeks now, so it's.
No, I'm just saying sorry for playing veterans.
Oh.
My condolences.
It's all good, dude. But
hey, this will give time for that third place match series to get started because
oh, definitely.
Humbug and Zelda are doing game 1 of a third place match they decided they wanted to do on Saturday, I believe.
Yeah, and GG's again to Goomba, dude. You're a hell of a competitor. I'm stoked I was even able to take a game off of you, and I'm really looking forward to game 3.
Well, if it goes anything like this, you're probably gonna take another one.
These don't happen very often with you, so I know that I'm gonna need to find a way to improve what I did this time around.
Hey, no pressure on you two, but just remember going into it, the championship of a multi-game tournament is on one single race.
I'm just excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, no, it's been fun.
I think we need to have Lynn roll the seed. I think we have to have a ceremony. Lynn needs to commentate and roll the seed. It'll be glorious.
I'm okay with that.
I don't mind.
I do, because you both are going to kill me before this tournament is over. Oh my god. That was a great race, guys. It's been so much fun. I'm so freaking pumped that we get a game 3. So as soon as we get that on the schedule, we will be sure to let you guys know here at ZSR. I'm going to try and make Lynn commentate. So hopefully it'll be on a time that Lynn can do it. If you don't know, Lynn is the former champion of last year, the 2020 tournament. And we'll be back super soon. Oh, speaking of super soon, we are going to have the third place race, which is what our wonderful commentators were discussing earlier. I think that is Saturday. Sorry, it's on Saturday. So be sure to tune in for that. It will be super exciting. And I think we'll just call it a night here, guys. I think we all need to just stop and take a breather after that. So on behalf of ZSR, our runners, our commentators, my wonderful co-tracker, Tofile, thank you for tuning in, and be sure to come back very, very soon here on ZSR.